Unit 7, page 56. Listening Skills, Exercise 3. You will hear part of a talk about attending a science festival. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Now, I think nearly all of you have received confirmation of your school placements for next term, and as part of your activities, we will be asking you to take responsibility for promoting a school visit to the Norchester Science Festival. Of course, the head of science at your school will be aware of the festival and should have all the details of it, but all the heads of science at your schools will be looking to you to be the main organiser and motivator of a visit to the festival. They'll give you the documents you need. We hope that you will motivate pupils at your schools to take an interest in the festival. It runs for 3 days. There are day tickets and special 3-day tickets, and schools have the extra option of a 2-day ticket. We hope you will encourage your pupils to visit it on 1 or 2 days. But most important of all, we hope you will use the festival to generate a lively interest in science that will last all year round and provide the school with a lasting benefit. This will, with luck, lead to improved examination results in science subjects. And let's not forget, we hope your pupils will have a lot of fun too. Needless to say, your performance in achieving these aims will count towards your final exam grade at the end of the year. Now, let me just say a few words on why a science festival. Science is part of our everyday world in a way that is different now from before. Of course, we are used to having the benefit of scientific inventions. We are used to the aeroplane, the motor car, the space rocket, and so on. But now we live in a truly scientific age, which means one where inventions and improvements are matters of routine rather than occasional and unusual events. We have become a really scientific society. Yet we find that we are failing to interest and enthuse the young in this. Fewer young people are choosing to study science at school after the age of 16, and even fewer at university. As a result, we have fewer teachers coming into schools to teach science. And many science teachers are not teaching their specialism. For example, I know of several cases where maths is being taught by biologists and chemistry is being taught by physicists. We urgently need another 3,000 science teachers in England at least. That's why we look to you, the science teachers who are starting off your careers, to inject enthusiasm and wonder into the study of science, and we hope the Norchester Festival will help you to do this.
Unit 7, page 57. Listening Skills, Exercise 7. Now answer questions 6 to 10.
Now, enough of the background. What about the festival? There are 3 main venues where the festival events take place. These are the Millennium Library, the Town Hall, not the Town Hall itself but the Town Hall Conference Centre, and the Norchester Theatre. Now, when you are planning your visits, remember that many of the activities for younger pupils will be at the Millennium Library, and the secondary school pupils may find more to interest them in the Conference Centre. Now, just so that you have some immediate information, I'd like to mention a few of the events that are taking place this year. One event of special interest to people living in this area is called Waterworld. This is a clay model of the southeast of England, and the presenters show you the effects of rising sea levels as a result of climate change. They ask the audience to select the rise in sea level, for example 20 or 40 or 60 centimetres, and the model shows the places that would be flooded as a result. Watch out for your town. Does it sink or does it swim? Transport 2050 is about transport options for our towns in the future. A number of experts will introduce the topic, and then everyone at the event will have a chance to speak and give their views. Science in a Suitcase is a comedy act by two scientists who do crazy experiments and sing songs and play the clown to large audiences every afternoon. I'm particularly looking forward to that one, which should be entertaining. Ropes and Hangings is an interactive event which will be of interest to young people, in which, after experimenting with ropes and bricks, they build a real suspension bridge. That kind of hands-on activity is always really popular. And, appealing to a different audience, there is Paper and Time, in which some experts will be showing us the techniques they use for the conservation of ancient books and manuscripts. This will obviously not be for everybody, but it should be interesting just to see how they do it. Now, let's move on to tickets and transport to the festival.
Unit 7, page 59. Speaking Skills, Exercise 8. Speaker 1.
Well, some people would say that it's a great help, in that lots of tasks are much easier than they were in the past. I'm not sure, because some gadgets create a lot of work in themselves to maintain, and we end up just finding other new chores to take up the time.
Speaker 2.
It's often said that the arts offer something to society, and therefore it's in everyone's interests if they get funding from the state. That's not my view, because if they were really that important, people would just be happy to pay higher ticket prices. Besides, if there was no funding, it would force them to think more commercially.
Speaker 3.
There is an argument that scientists are too isolated, that they work in specialised departments and don't really think about the consequences of their ideas on the world outside. I really don't think that's true. I mean, things have changed and a lot of scientists are interested in how their work is seen by non-specialists.
Unit 7, page 59. Speaking Skills, Exercise 8. Speaker 1.
Well, some people would say that it's a great help, in that lots of tasks are much easier than they were in the past. I'm not sure, because some gadgets create a lot of work in themselves to maintain, and we end up just finding other new chores to take up the time.
Speaker 2.
It's often said that the arts offer something to society, and therefore it's in everyone's interests if they get funding from the state. That's not my view, because if they were really that important, people would just be happy to pay higher ticket prices. Besides, if there was no funding, it would force them to think more commercially.
Speaker 3.
There is an argument that scientists are too isolated, that they work in specialised departments and don't really think about the consequences of their ideas on the world outside. I really don't think that's true. I mean, things have changed and a lot of scientists are interested in how their work is seen by non-specialists.
Unit 7, page 59. Speaking Skills, Exercise 8. Speaker 1.
Well, some people would say that it's a great help, in that lots of tasks are much easier than they were in the past. I'm not sure, because some gadgets create a lot of work in themselves to maintain, and we end up just finding other new chores to take up the time.
Speaker 2.
It's often said that the arts offer something to society, and therefore it's in everyone's interests if they get funding from the state. That's not my view, because if they were really that important, people would just be happy to pay higher ticket prices. Besides, if there was no funding, it would force them to think more commercially.
Speaker 3.
There is an argument that scientists are too isolated, that they work in specialised departments and don't really think about the consequences of their ideas on the world outside. I really don't think that's true. I mean, things have changed and a lot of scientists are interested in how their work is seen by non-specialists.
Unit 7. Page 60. Speaking Skills. Exercise 13.
The arts and the sciences.
Unit 7. Page 60. Speaking Skills. Exercise 14. A.
People say that science will provide the answers to all our problems, but I don't think that outcome is very likely.
B.
There are many inventions which came from China in the distant past, and now a lot of brilliant scientists are working there.
C.
Some scientific inventions have resulted in great harm. Others have resulted in some useful labour-saving products.
Unit 7. Page 61. Exam Listening. Section 3. You will hear some students talking about an arts assignment. Listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
What have you been working on, Arthur?
I've been looking into the funding of the arts by the Arts Association.
Oh, Mr. Simpson gave you that topic, did he?
Yes, it's not too difficult. At least all the facts and figures are easy to find, or I think they will be. I've done a lot of useful stuff already. Simpson hasn't asked me to present my research for the past few seminars, so I think he might ask me this time.
Well, what have you found out?
Well, it's big money at the Arts Association. £330 million from the government and £118 million from the lottery. Let me see, I've got my notes here. Now, the Arts Association mission statement tells us that it exists to develop, sustain and promote the arts. So that's clear. But then we need to know exactly how it can do this. However, before we get to that, there are certain issues which the association must take into account.
What are those issues?
They are, first, access. This is the idea that the arts mustn't be just for the few.
Not just Italian opera, but pop concerts too.
Something like that. Other issues are education, cultural diversity, social regeneration and social inclusion. All these are different ways of saying that the arts are for everyone.
All right, but what does it actually do?
It does what it wants, I think. The government does not interfere in its activities, but demands that it gets value for money for its funds.
But there must be certain programmes that it carries out.
Oh, yes. There is the touring programme, which is what it says. That is, a programme to support...
Give money to?
Yes, that's right. To support touring companies, for example, dance companies, orchestras and so on. There is also the recovery programme.
What on earth is that?
It's a financial programme to give extra money to organisations which are financially in a bad way, or which might have financial difficulties in the future. Like it says, it's for their recovery.
It all seems very complicated.
It is.
Unit 7, page 61. Exam listening. Now answer questions 26 to 30.
Did you get any information on the reading for the other half of our work?
Yes, I did. You mean the Art and Society module?
Yes.
Yes. I met Simpson himself as we were waiting for a train at Norchester Station, so I managed to ask him.
Any luck?
Yes, I've got the notes I took here. He told me, of course, to start with Greenberg, who covers contemporary art and the up-to-the-minute movements in America. It's about the modern movements, really. As far as the economic impact of art is concerned, a basic text is the Parliamentary Report on Art and the UK Economy. This gives lots of monetary facts and figures, but the figures are not very satisfactory, as, of course, a lot of the information is confidential and can't be published. Art Now, Art Wow by someone called Dennison sounds exciting, and is about how art and artists are created, presented for buyers, and sold in the US. It's about the whole trade in art as a phenomenon.
Like a product? Like washing powder?
Yes, that's the idea of the book, anyway. And there's another one here. Oh, yes, by someone called Hampton. It's a book called American Art, which Simpson says is full of discussion on the relationship of art to the other aspects of culture, such as film, television, books, and so on.
Popular culture, I suppose.
Not just popular. Culture of all sorts, I imagine. Finally, for the spiritual and more abstract aspects of art, he recommends Art and the Mind of Modern Man by Frick. It's sort of about how art relates to how we think. He did have lots of other recommendations, but luckily his train arrived before he could move on to them. These seem enough to me.
Yes, they're a good place to start. We will be busy.